Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia Pilot into the University of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some beauty-inspired beauty expressions that's Chinese language idealization of female beauty. Okay, today we're going to talk about 如花似玉. So apparently here, Chinese language is comparing female beauty to flower, to jade. Now, flower we can understand, right? Flower, the shape, the color, the fragility of flower, all that qualities can be transferred to describe a human beauty. Now, jade, how to understand that? Jade in Chinese culture is culturally rich precious stone. So before diamond, diamond is probably a Western thing. Jade was the precious stone, highly regarded in Chinese society. For some time, it was used as, precious stone used as currency. So jade was also used as personal adornment. So there was also jade trade, jade production, the whole slew of jade industry back then. But now we can only see the residue of, jade was still produced, made into jewelry, but it was not as massive, as influential as before. But culturally, it also lived in our language. So comparing woman, female beauty to jade was then shown here. So the quality of jade, besides it was precious metal, precious stone, it was personal adornment. So when it comes to personal adornment, it's beautifying of somebody, right? Jade not only create the visual sense of personal adornment. You see different colors, jade or jade made into beads or bracelets or all kinds of shapes, carved shapes. Jade can also create a sound. So when Chinese language actually have such jade clapping into each other, create this almost like a chime sound. So when it was a personal adornment, when it's placed strategically somewhere, and then when you walk, it's going to create a certain sound, and that create a further allure. Like not only the visual effect of that person, but the audio effect. Like before you see that person, you hear that person approaching with this wind chime sounding jade sound. Imagine a walking wind chime that's made of jade. Okay, so all that personal adornment, the precious stone quality, and the surface of jade. In the Western culture, people like to compare, a good, supple, useful skin to boiled egg, right? Surface egg, because it's, protein. It's have all that smooth quality and also easy to bounce back quality. So well-maintained, useful face, the beauty industry at least try to sell to consumers by comparing well cared for face to boiled egg. But Chinese use jade to compare the surface quality, the tactile quality. Given jade doesn't give in, doesn't have this bounciness, it's forever keep in a firm shape like that. But it's the surface, how smooth it is. It also has a kind of a cooling effect as well. In summertime, I have this pillowcase that's made of jade discs. So it's supposed to cool your head in heated days of the year. And jade certainly have that quality of smooth surface, luxurious touch, and also this cooling effect. So this quality, this texture of jade, then used to compare the skin, how smooth and how jade-like that is. So 如花似玉 is comparing female beauty to as if it's like a flower, as if it's smooth like jade. Smooth, precious, or beautiful as jade, all that are packed with this flower and jade icons. Okay, 如, we have female figure on the left, and we have male symbol on the right. This simply means submissive female actually is unmarried female. So it's somebody's daughter. So I guess I have to make it clear because before I was talking about, okay, it's a female, submissive, following instructions. The mouse symbol symbolizes directive, somebody giving instructions or orders, female, follow instructions. But later on, I learned, okay, this is actually unmarried woman. So I guess for daughter to be more submissive, to follow instructions of adults, that's probably behavior-wise more expected than like if you're married, you already gave birth, and you're mother of several kids, probably your status, your social status in a household got be elevated, along with how many heirs you gave birth to. So this unmarried woman haven't yet proven herself to be reproductively, abled. So it's probably on the lower rank of family domestic life, because okay, sons, boys can be at least proven as productive or useful doing farm work. So therefore, the culturally agrarian society prefer boys. Now, daughters is like you're raising somebody else's wife, and it was more like a liability than an asset. Boys are more asset versus girls are more liability. So this girls, you can imagine back then was not valued as much by the household, but therefore it was expected for the girl to follow instruction even more so than just a generic woman symbol. It's daughter symbol. Okay, so this following instruction then made into the comparison of A follow B, or follow the same logic, or follow some similarity between the two as a comparison. So 如花 means female body, as if following the flower, how flower bloom or how flower look. Okay, and the 四 have this human figure on the side and have what scholars said is a kind of a transformation of the self-referral symbol 己. So Chinese have several self-referral symbols. One is pointing to the middle of the nose. That's self-referral, just pointing toward yourself. And one is number 5 with a speaking symbol. That's like expect you to speak balanced way, like number 5, neutral, like not extreme, right? That's kind of self-displaying and things in moderation, especially pay attention to what you speak. I mean, good lesson in general, right? And there are like a giving symbol, the symbol sign to give. I guess this is your way to prove your existence is by interacting with the society or tribe by giving. Giving is like giving part of you, giving your service, giving your influence. So that way you can feel the bounce back, like you do have an impact, something like that. So that's another self-referral. And this 己 is like a rope, kind of a curvious looking like this. And the 己, we can view it as somebody who has a unique life path. It's not linear, it's zigzag, right? And you are the only one who is walking that path. Nobody can predict what's going to happen, but it's guaranteed not going to be a straight line. And then you can also view it as it's a rope-like structure. It's soft body. It's not a stick. It's not stiff. So it's kind of a soft. It twists and turns and changes shape to adapt to the environment. And that rope is going to be someone who tied together your life's experience, your unique context of existence into a bundle that's uniquely you. So we can view that as also a way for Chinese culturally to identify, to be self-aware. Okay, so this comparison of a person next to a self-referral look-alike symbol, I view it as we are keeping this dichotomy in mind, that me existing as a uniquely me versus socially adjusted generic human figure that's look like this. So there is this constant reminder to us through interaction with people that there are this socially expected human existence. There is also this uniquely biologically, culturally, social, all kinds of intellectually, that's uniquely me. That's nobody else. I'm different from this generic calling of what's expected of me, right? So this contrast of similarity, yes, a lot of things, me versus other humans are similar, but there's something uniquely about me, and that's difference. So this similarity and difference bring into this one frame. That's the essence of comparing, because when you're comparing, you're not exactly comparing apple to apple, right? Even if you're comparing apple to apple, it's one apple against another apple. The two apples are not exactly the same. There's nothing in the world that's exactly the same. Yeah, even human mass-produced items, there are defects, and there are this tolerance range. Within that range is accepted. But if you look deeper, nothing is exactly the same. Humans cannot produce exactly the same thing. Nature don't do that either, probably intentionally not do that either. Each of us come with our uniqueness. Okay, so this comparison, another way to say comparison. Flower, we have this plant symbol, 2 layers of petals, pollen pole, that depicts the essence of flower, how that looks like, right? And then the bottom is the speaking function. It has a puff of air coming out of you, your lungs, and then have this blockage, your mouth chamber that produce the sound, that kind of block the sound so that the sound doesn't go out like unobstructedly. It comes out with obstruction in pretty high frequency. I mean, just thinking about speaking is really complicated. Motion of our tongues and teeth and the lips, they coordinate together to create a constant flux of this muscle chamber that shapes the sound going out, right? So that's sound creation. And then the last horizontal line is sound bites or sound bits that goes out to the world. So you have this internal you, have a pair that comes out of you, this sound creation, and also the result of the sound creation. The whole thing depicts the speaking function. So flower plus speaking simply means flower is the language of the plant. Flower, by blooming, the plant send out a signal to the world that come pollinize me. I'm ready to reproduce. Okay, that's it. So that's flower. That's the prime time of, or the most beautiful time of the existence of the plant, because they have to attract the bees are coming over to do the pollination thing. So that's comparable to humans' prime time, high reproductive season. All right. We have 3 horizontal lines connected with 1 vertical line. And note here, the vertical line doesn't poke through the top or the bottom. So it was within the boundary. And it has to intersect as well, so that it's connected into one complete unit. There's nothing floating separate from others. Okay, so the whole image is using 3 horizontal lines to show the disc of the jade. And then vertical line is the string that tie the disc together. So disc shape of the jade was used to create almost like a currency, like coins, right? Humans make currency easy to carry into coin shape. Similarly, ancient Chinese use jade discs used as a currency, and they have to have this hole in the middle so that a string can go around, can loop something together. So contemporary, the coins in America comes in a package, right? There is no holes, so things are scattered. It's hard to manage. Chinese, one step further, create a holes, drill the hole. I mean, that's processable, right? Made a hole in the middle, put a string over, so things are not scattered, and it kind of unified, stacked together. You know exactly how high that is, how much that represents the value. So this jade trade in this storage of jade form in the disc form on the string, that's probably commonly used form of jade existence. So that becomes jade, and you will say why there's one extra dot in there. The two doesn't look exactly the same. That dot is a divergent marker because we have another symbol that means the king, the ruler of the country, that looks exactly the same. 3 horizontal lines, 1 vertical line. And that looks exactly the same. So for people, how to differentiate? So somebody say, okay, we cannot touch anything on the king. We have to do something to the jade. Add 1 extra line, make it obvious it's the jade, not the king. Okay. 如花似玉 is Chinese way to describe the beauty, I guess, prime time woman, female beauty, as flower, as jade. So you see here is some cross screen of, culturally, this, I guess, is 200 years ago, female is a period costume would look like that, okay? With a certain hairdo, with a certain hair adornment. I guess this is the flower, kind of like a butterfly-ish flower look. Jade, or yeah, it's probably not jade. I'm not sure if there is such a jade color, but it's a stone on the metal, carved, very delicate. There's a whole slew of Chinese hairpins. It's culturally enriching. It's like a small world, but it was kind of considered as a beauty industry back then, right? Women who don't really have much arena to exert their power, their influence, or display of themselves spend so much time, energy, create such intricate headgear. I mean, hair decoration. And here, these is kind of chandelier-looking earrings made of jade. So you can see jade is personal adornment, and this hairpin thing also dangling. That may also create a sound as well. That's why it's made into this chandelier shape, so that the beads can hit on each other, create a certain sound effect. So it's visually and audibly pleasing. It's related to feminine beauty back then. So here is somebody saying 如花似玉美人面. Okay, so it's like a flower-like, jade-like 美人面, beauty face, and it's challenging the audience. What's the corresponding line to that? So Chinese like to do this couplet game. I'm not good enough with the ancient Chinese language creation that come up with a worthy 下联. So the second stance of this expression. But I'm pointing out 如花似玉 was indeed a commonly used beauty descriptor of feminine beauty. All right, cash into the currency of thinking back over today, please. Okay, see you next.